What's going on, everybody? Brian Man here, hands-on auto training. End of day, August 17th, 2021. Get this thing out my ear. It's the end of the day, right? Hey, today I had two Finicky Fords. We're going to get to both of those, and just so you know, on one of the Finicky Fords, I made a complete video, actually screen recording of the whole process of a GEM module or smart junction box install on a 2009 Ford Escape. I did a recording because I thought I was going to have problems because it aired out one time, but we'll get into that. But we started out today with a 2019 Ford Fusion that had the CCM module. That's a cruise control module, which is a little sensing box, radar cruise box that mounts to the front of the bumper. That module was replaced with a brand new one, basically because the bracket for it got bent in an accident. Now, I don't know how bad of an accident it was. It appears not bad at all. The shop was saying it really wasn't a bad hit at all, but it just bent the bracket a little bit. So as you see here, we have a configuration code, but we also have two other codes. One code is in the CCM saying like it's a CAN bus communication. It's a private CAN bus. This is where I learned something today. We have a private CAN bus that goes directly between the CCM, which is the cruise control module, and the APIM, I think, or IPMA is what it's called. IPMA, which is your rear view mirror camera. That's the forward-facing camera for the lane keep assist function. So there's a CAN bus that runs between the two of those, and in this vehicle, we were setting an intermittent CAN bus fault that was starting to be a problem. So the shop had called me out because they wanted me to go ahead and program the module. They knew it had to be programmed, so I went ahead with IDS, did PMI on it. That's programmable module installation. It was successful, no problems there whatsoever. And that's probably because that talks on the dedicated CAN bus. I think it's high-speed CAN bus 2 on that one, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that, you have to test drive this on a straight road over 30 miles an hour for 5 to 15 minutes, I think is what it'll say on a scan tool. We went for quite a long test drive on this thing, and the message for the collision avoidance system would not go out. It's supposed to go out, and then you hit confirm. And then we got off the highway and went about 40 miles an hour for a very short period of time, and it learned really fast. The light went out, but as soon as I cleared codes, we had a code come back in both the CCM and the IPMA module. So when those codes came back, if those were signal CAN bus message codes, and I think something's going on here between probably right at the connector. If I had to have my guess, right at the connector for that cruise control module, there's probably going to be a bent pin or something that has a bad connection. They have to pull the bumper cover back off to dive in there and see what's up. Next, we're off to a 2011 Buick LaCrosse that had a used transmission. This is a 3.6 liter LaCrosse used transmission, so that means the Tecum or the TCM is also used. And as you see here, we had the wrong VIN number, and then we did a SPS programming and the VIN number change and also the calibration change. So that's 2 for 2 this week. We'll take it. The next job of the day was a 2010 Dodge Avenger that I worked on a couple weeks ago. This is the one that they had the wrong used computer, and even the computer that was in it had the wrong calibration. Somebody else put that in at the auction or whatever, and it was a big mess. But they did get the used computer with the right calibrations. We just basically did the PCM replace function underneath the WIN. Boom, it was done. Easy, it was no problem. And that code that was popping immediately for, I think it was electronic stability program, ESP program data missing. I think that's what it was. It was actually setting a code as soon as you turn the key on before, because it was looking for a system that this vehicle is not equipped with. So we got that taken care of. The next stop was the 2004 Acura TSX. This technician had installed a computer on his own car and wanted help programming the security or programming the keys to it. Well, hey there, YouTube viewers, what's wrong with this picture? That's right, we don't have a check engine light. No communication with the used computer, so he's got a bad used computer. We plugged the original computer in. It does have communication and a check engine light, so we got to be able to talk to it in order to do the security. The next job was the last job of the day, and this was another Finicky Ford. This is a 2009 Ford Escape smart junction box. Now, the shop did tell me that they tried to program it with their Autel. I don't know if that could have given me some grief or not, but when I had gotten there, I told them to have the original module in. So I ID'd the vehicle normally, just turn the key on, ID the vehicle, and basically I always do my complete vehicle DTC scan. And then I went to PMI to install that module, and it tells you to turn the key off, switch the module, and all that. Well, when the key turned back on, it waits like 30 seconds, and then it said it's going to program multiple bar graphs, is what they say, like multiple screens where the progress meter's going across. Well, this thing, as soon as it did that, the screen went blue on the IDS like this, and I waited and waited and waited. I think I waited probably about 7 or 8 minutes, and I was like, well, I know this isn't working. This job does not take 7 or 8 minutes. So I did a good old-fashioned Control-Delete on that bad boy, restarted the session. This time I started it with the new module installed, and I thought I'd do automatic as-built. You know, if you're on the internet, you can go ahead and hit the choice of download the as-built data automatically. And I did that, and what happened was it came up with this error, data corrupted. I'm like, oh boy, now we got a problem. So at this point, I turned the key off, I shut down Ford IDS, I installed the original module, and then I started recording, the screen recording, because I wanted to show you guys what was going on there. And of course, everything went just fine. So those of you that are premium core members, I will have step-by-step narration of the whole process of programming the smart junction box on this 2009 Escape. I don't know if they may have corrupted something with their Autel scanner. I'm not really sure what happened there, but hey, I'm glad it recovered and we got it done. Well, my day's not quite over. I'm doing a pretty good-sized class tomorrow, electrical training, live event, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I got to go home and prepare stuff and load up my van. Those of you that have been following me on Facebook for some time, you've probably seen when I was cramming all this stuff into a little Honda Civic. This thing's much better for the type of stuff I need to do. So you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to hit them up in the comment section. Hit the notification bell if you would. I'd appreciate that. And also, if you want more in-depth training, always check out handsonautotraining.com. Have a great day.